Greg Kelly, who, the poor man's, is he the poor man's Sean Hannity? Because they're both poor men. I mean, they're rich, but they're, as men, poor in masculinity, I would just say. This is Eric Trump on Greg Kelly Reports, GK. That says 2022 will be a bloodbath for Democrats. For Democrats. So on our behalf, so Republicans are going to be, because you guys are eviscerating yourselves. So we'll basically, if I get Eric Trump right in this, and we'll see, we'll watch the video, I think maybe this is what he's saying, is that on the battlefield, Democrats will all be up on this hillside, and the Republicans will be on this hillside. And then somebody goes, oh, yeah, like Braveheart. And then the Republicans will stampede down on the field and then just start stabbing themselves and each other and shivving each other. And the Democrats are going, do we even bother to, do we help? Do we wait till they're done and call an ambulance? How's this work?
We're joined by Eric Trump, Executive Vice President of the Trump Organization, and of course, son of the former President of the United States. Eric, welcome back to Newsmax. How are you?
God, Greg, no one is that excited to see Eric Trump ever. You're going to confuse him and scare him off like Tiny Tim.
Hey, Greg.
I love that we're hearing oh, so good. So we're going to be hearing Greg Kelly's echo from the mic on the other side. Oh,
it's great to be back. We're doing very well, my friend. We're doing very, very well.
Indeed.
Yeah, you absolutely are. You're doing very, very well now that your dad's out of government and you're facing multiple criminal charges.
I don't like the harassment that is still taking place, it seems.
Oh, no. But they're doing very well except for the harassment, of course.
Teams of your dad and, people, Cy Vance snooping around.
Yeah, snooping. That's what they're doing. They're snooping.
Is everything settled? What's the score right now?
Yeah, everything's settled. Yeah, those lawsuits and the criminal charges, that's over. That was never going anywhere anyway.
Yeah, well, listen, the score is the same as it's been for the last, 5 years, frankly. They'll do anything to try and disqualify my father. They know he's, the strongest political force, Greg, on this side of the aisle by far. There's never been anybody who's had the following of him.
He's coming in second to Ron DeSantis right now, who's a complete goober. But yeah, besides that,
never been anybody who's had the support of my father, and they'll do.
There's never been anybody that's had the support of your father? Oh, you mean like the children? I see.
Anything they can to try and take the guy down, and they did it with Russia, and they did it with Ukraine, and you saw how they went after his Supreme Court justices, and they tried to impeach him when he was out of office. And
by the way, his Supreme Court justices are the reason ACA is still standing right now, and so obviously there's a little pissed or whatever. And I'm glad they gave Eric the scissors. That doesn't seem dangerous.
These people will just never stop. They will never, ever stop. And
yeah, it's like cops when they're on a slow speed chase. Why don't they just give up? Just because the person in the car has money and a kidnapped child and a gun. You've been driving so long. Don't you feel like just call off the chase?
Every single day they come after our family. They subpoena our family. They attack our family with one goal in mind, and that's to disqualify and discredit and harass a political rival. And
disqualify and harass a political rival. Oh, so he can't run in 2024. Oh, we're still playing that game?
Greg, it's something that you would think you'd see in a third world country. I never thought that America would ever see that kind of behavior.
Yeah, in third world countries, it's terrible when a corrupt politician leaves office and they, normally in a third world country, they prosecute the former leader who, was engaged in criminal behaviors. They don't just let him slink off into his mansion and leave him alone to count his money. That's not a third world country kind of a thing.
Behavior and, but this is the game that the Democrats play. They weaponize legal systems every single day. And, the good news.
Yeah, they do. Pretty much. We're almost out. Next we're going to have to weaponize the Cub Scouts. It's just exhausting.
We're really honest people. We've got absolutely nothing to hide from.
I'm sorry, what?
And, the good news is we're really honest people. We've got absolutely nothing to hide from. And frankly, they've been at it for 5.5 years.
Absolutely nothing to hide from. You mean absolutely nothing to hide? Because, I mean, you do have something to hide from, which is, of course, why your dad is hiding his taxes. I mean, isn't your brother avoiding a deposition right now?
Years, right? If they had something, wouldn't they have done something about it already?
Hal, what did he dip his face in? I'm guessing Vaseline lard. Could it be?
But
It's probably the salad, the oil and vinegar at the omelet bar at Mar-a-Lago.
again, this is the U.S. political system, and it's devolved in a major way, and it's just something.
Yes, it was. Yes, our legal system, because your father was elected, went in the shitter for a while. Obviously, we're on recovery right now.
Something that, we deal with every single day because we don't have a choice, and we just keep on fighting. And Greg, we're going to win it again one of these days. I promise you that. We're going to win it again, and we're going to stop this nonsense.
Well,
win what again? What do you? I mean, I'm trying to make sense. If your dad running again, you mean you running again? You mean Laura being a senator or something? Win what again? You haven't even entered into the fight you're going to experience.
Well, Eric, you and your family have sacrificed so much. They were
so much. Oh gosh, they sacrificed so much. I mean, they, used Secret Service funds and American taxpayer dollars to keep their golf courses afloat across the country repeatedly, and that kind of sacrifice.
They were harassing you while your father was president, before and now after, and I don't like it one bit. And by the way, they're often doing, the other side, what they accuse our side of doing.
Our side? Oh, Greg. Are you a member of the Trump family now? Our side?
Here is Joe Biden making a pledge during the campaign.
No one in my family will have an office in the White House, will sit in meetings as if they're a cabinet member, will in fact have any business relationship with anyone that relates to a foreign corporation or a foreign country. Period.
Okay, so October 2019, Joe Biden is not president yet.
Period. End of story.
When you've been around for 50 years in politics, you know the rules so well, you know how to get around them. And I want to point this out right now. The Biden administration has all kinds of people related to each other. Let's go through it.
Sorry, are they related to Joe Biden?
Steve Ricchetti, the White House counsel. He's got family members throughout the administration, all over the place. Jen Psaki, her sister, actually has a pretty big job in the administration as well. Senior advisor, Health and Human Services. And it goes on and on. Ron Klain and his wife. The deputy White House chief of staff, Bruce Reed, has a daughter in the administration.
Are any of these people related to Joe Biden?
National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan has several relatives all over the place. Again, it's not quite, like I said before, he knows the rules so well, he knows what he can get away with. Yes, what he can get away with, apparently, is sticking to what he said. Yes. Oh, yes, Hazard. Biden's daily scheduler is obviously a nepotism. They come from a long line of calendars.
So, Greg, let me ask maybe two questions. First of all, so it's okay for Hunter Biden to sit on Ukrainian energy boards, and it's okay for him to sell, arts and crafts paintings that he's doing in his basement for $500,000 to undisclosed purchasers around the world.
But nobody wants your finger painting. Nobody.
But that's
Eric looks like a sweaty Chucky doll. Ouch.
Not having a job in the administration. I'd say that's.
No, it's not. It's not having a job in the administration.
It's having a job in the administration. The other really.
I'm sorry. What?
$500,000 to undisclosed purchasers around the world, but that's not having a job in the administration.
No, that's not having a job in the administration.
That's having a job in the administration. The other really interesting thing is
How is that having a job in the administration? I'm serious.
I had 3 family members in the administration.
Yeah, yes. So you had 3 family members in the administration.
My father, who was president, my sister, and Jared Kushner. And my sister and Jared Kushner and my father were also passionate about the actual cause at hand. You know what they did? They turned down their salary, and they were actually...
They made $148 million while they were in office. Turned down their salary.
Taxed on a salary that they didn't take because of income, right? Because it's you know, it's effectively a donation back to the government. They gave up every single penny of their salary, and they did amazing things. What my sister did for women's rights in the country was unbelievable.
Yeah, women, I don't know if you realize, but the ERA is already passed. You don't have problems. And child tax credit that obviously was passed, you know, because Democrats put it in the COVID bill. But that, I mean, that, it didn't go until your dad was out of office. But still.
What she did for, you know, paid family leave was incredible. What Jared did in terms of creating, you know, peace in the Middle East and negotiating.
Yeah, he totally created peace in the Middle East. I mean, obviously, you know, nobody told the Israelis and the Palestinians, but I mean.
Negotiating peace in the Middle East, how hard he worked on that project and so much other.
Yeah, just from the rest of us, maybe don't work so hard next time. Maybe work smart. I don't know. It seems like an intellectual problem, not one that requires a lot of wincing.
You know, great stuff. And guess what? They made absolutely zero from that. I want to go see what all...
I'm sorry? So wait a minute. You can't profitize world peace? What kind of racket? Hold on. Let's see. Ivanka and Jared made money, White House, something like that. Let's see. They gave up. Is that what we're talking about, Eric? They gave up their salaries. Their salaries. They gave up. So they gave up their salary while they were in the White House. Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump reported between $172 million and $640 million in outside income while working in the White House. According to an analysis of financial disclosures by Crew, it is impossible to tell the exact amount, as the income is sometimes reported in broad ranges and cover 4 months of income before Ivanka officially joined her father's administration and nearly 1 month before Jared Kushner joined. Both Kushner and Trump announced they would not take a salary while working for the government in an attempt to shut down nepotism concerns. While their supporters marked this as a public sacrifice, the massive amount of money they made on the side undercuts that argument, as government salaries would have been less than 1% of their income. But please, the sacrifices, they had to pay taxes on that less than 1% of their income.
All those people that you just mentioned a second ago, I want to see how much money they make. What are their salaries? Are any of them foregoing their salaries?
Well, no, because they don't make anything outside. They're not making $140 to $640 million using their position to make other money. That's what they live on. They eat that. They buy the toilet paper that they shit out, the food that they eat that they paid for with their salary while they were there. I mean,
is Joe Biden, is a president of the United States like my father did, is he foregoing his salary? I don't think so. They never have. They've been grifters on this government for their entire lives.
I'm sorry. Did your dad, how much did your dad charge the Secret Service to protect him? What was the, let's see, Trump charges Secret Service. Let's just look that one up, just to baseline, see what this is. Let's see. So he sacrificed. He gave. Trump's businesses charged Secret Service more than $1.1 million, including for rooms in club shuttered for pandemic. President Trump's luxury properties have charged the U.S. government more than $1.1 million in private transactions since Trump took office, including for room rentals at his Bedminster, New Jersey club this spring while it was closed for the coronavirus pandemic, new documents show. The documents, including receipts and invoices from Trump's businesses, were released by the Secret Service after the Washington Post filed a public records lawsuit. They added $188,000 in previously unknown charges to the Post's running total of payments to Trump's properties related to the presence of Secret Service agents. At Bedminster this spring, the records show, Trump's club charged the Secret Service more than $21,800 to rent a cottage and other rooms while the club was closed and otherwise off limits to guests. The documents don't give a reason for these rentals. Trump didn't visit the club while it was closed, but his eldest daughter, Ivanka Trump, and her family reportedly visited at least once. The family visited the club in April to celebrate Passover, a period that overlaps several of the largest Secret Service charges. At the time, both the District of Columbia, where Ivanka Trump lives, and New Jersey had imposed stay-at-home orders, telling residents to avoid travel except under limited circumstances. A spokeswoman for Ivanka Trump declined to comment. The Passover visit was first reported by the New York Times. The Secret Service does not appear to have violated any New Jersey virus restrictions by renting the rooms or visiting Bedminster. Restrictions by New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy explicitly exempted federal employees. The receipts and invoices shed new light on the unprecedented relationship Trump has with his own government, where Trump's presidential travel brings a stream of public money. Room rentals, resort fees, and furniture removal. How Trump's company charged the U.S. government more than $900,000. That's from August 27, 2020. Secret Service had asked for a room close to the president, but Mar-a-Lago said it was too late. The room was booked. Would agents like a room across the street from the president instead? I do have a beach cabana available, a staff member at the President's Club in Palm Beach, Florida, wrote in March 2017 to a Secret Service agent seeking rooms for the upcoming weekend across the street at the beach club, north end of the pool. The next time, Secret Service didn't take the same risk. It paid Mar-a-Lago to book rooms for 2 weeks at a time, locking them up before the club could rent them to others, according to newly released records and emails. For Trump's club, it appeared, saying no to the Secret Service had made it a better customer. The agency was paying for rooms on nights when Trump wasn't even visiting. Yeah. Yeah. So, just, but they sacrificed $900,000 a year in just Secret Service. Not to mention that, his plane doesn't even work anymore. That I know of, because we flew him everywhere and flew his family everywhere. Holy smokes.
Joe Biden has never had an actual job. Neither has his son, other than...
Well, I mean, public service is an actual job. And I think that's more indicative that you think that anybody who serves in the House or the Senate or becomes vice president, that's not an actual job. So we'll tell Mike Pence that he never had an actual job, and as a governor and as vice president, those weren't actual jobs. And go tell Matt Gaetz to get an actual job. His dad's a public servant. He didn't have an actual job.
Frankly, selling access to the United States government. And it's disgusting. And, my sister never did it. She never took a penny, and she was incredibly effective. And you know what?
At what?
I wish we actually had effective people like Ivanka and Jared within this White House. Something might...
Yeah, well, he does mean that, by the way. Effective at funneling money to the family. So, obviously, that gravy train is dried up.
Actually get done, because when you look at their policies, they are destroying this country every single day.
Yeah, I know. I mean, look behind you. It's all on fire. I mean, never mind that I guess there's steam coming out of that functioning factory and the lights are on that bridge and stuff. But obviously the infrastructure's collapsed. And those buildings behind Greg Kelly those aren't lights on with people working at night. Those buildings are, that's a nuclear accident that's happening. They've totally Chernobyl.
And it wasn't a secret, of course. Jared and your sister, we saw them.
What's her name?
Every day. It was understood. And there they were. And you mentioned the buck a year salary. And let's talk about Hunter Biden. Nobody thinks he's a real painter, but this does seem to be a scam, according to, by the way, the Obama administration's chief ethicist. There's a guy named Walter Schaub. He's kind of big.
Well, but I'm no art judge. I couldn't tell.
On Twitter. And he reported this: let's let foreign governments or anyone else funnel hundreds of thousands of dollars anonymously to POTUS's relatives through subjectively priced commodities.
Thank you, Robert.
Like hotel charges, real estate purchases, and art. Oh, wait. Art is completely different. You see what he's getting at here.
Yeah, so hotel charges and real estate purchases and art. So it's okay for foreign entities to funnel money to Trump by buying out entire floors of his properties. But the art, which has to obviously either sell for more later or justify it, that'll be part of it. We'll see. I can't tell you how art's going to stand up.
So this is a real issue.
There's a real problem that he's making a living, that he's not having to go work for a foreign government because it's just getting funded by people buying his art. Do you have any George Bush dog paintings we need to see?
Well, listen, what's the latest on 2024?
Yeah, tell us Tell us what's the latest on something that isn't going to happen.
Where's his heart right now? What can you tell us? There are a lot
His heart is just to the left of his sternum. You'll recognize it. It's the thing that's covered in cholesterol.
of people who want him back, but I would
Do they?
imagine he's taking it, he wants to wait and see.
Yeah. Keep imagining, Greg.
Yeah, well, Greg, a lot of people want him back, to say the least.
Yes, that would be saying the least.
There's half this country right now that feels like they don't have a spokesperson. They have no voice. You've got another
Well, that's emotional weakness on their part, isn't it?
major amount of the country who thinks that they made a terrible mistake electing this guy. There's a lot of questions on that, but a lot of
Are there a lot of questions?
people are saying we made a major mistake. You see what's happening to fuel prices. You see what's happening to commodity prices. You see what's
Oh, which commodity? You mean like lumber?
happening with inflation.
Hold on. Let me see real quick. I mean, I did that one. That one's easy. Let's see. Commodities pricing. Let's see. News. What is happening to commodities? What could be happening with commodities right now? Commodities from copper to corn tumble on China crackdown, rising dollar. Prices of commodities were falling sharply on Thursday, cutting into months of gains and weighing on equity markets as China takes steps to cool off rising prices and the US dollar strengthens. This is CNBC, clearly a left-wing socialist communist organization. The decline in commodities was widespread, with futures prices for palladium and platinum falling more than 11% and 7% respectively, along with declines of nearly 6% for corn futures and 4.8% for contracts tied to copper. Oil prices were also down more than 1%. Thursday's move continued a slide that began earlier in the week, thanks in part to actions by Chinese regulators. Crude oil. Brent crude oil is static. Henry Hub natural gas, that's down 2 points, 2.2. Yes, good time to buy palladium, true. I guess, I don't know. Silver, platinum, they're down 8%. Copper's down 7%. Oh, gold's 5.7%. This is all the preppers are all freaking out. That's what this is. Cocoa's down 1%. I mean, where are the dukes when you need them? It was the dukes. Oh, look, lumber, 9.8% down. Look at all the commodities just falling off. Hey, but feeder cattle's up 4.6%. Live cattle's up 2.5%. And that's because, of course, herd cullings that happened. Thank you, Amy. Appreciate that. What a taters. So what was the commodities? Okay, this dude's got. The commodities are so poor. This guy's actually taking back the copper tubing he stole from the neighborhood. I'm kidding. This is just like it's not even worth it anymore. Yes, hand sanitizers through the roof though. Commodities. What else?
Around the world, you see what's happening with Putin literally hacking our.
Hold on, wait.
People are saying we made a major mistake. You see what's happening to fuel prices. You see what's happening to commodity prices.
Okay, so fuel prices. So oil's down a barrel. Let's see, fuel prices. News. Oh, this is depressing. Solar increasingly beating even cheapest fossil fuels on price. June 23rd, 2021. This is a new hope for American solar. U.S. manufacturers laud tax credit proposals. Let's see. The amount of renewable energy that came in cheaper than most competitive fossil fuel option doubled last year, according to new analysis from the International Renewable Energy Agency, IRENA. Come on, IRENA. In total, 62% of renewable power added last year was developed at a price lower than the cheapest fossil fuels. Driven by the falling cost of renewable technologies, the renewable power generation cost in 2020 report said solar PV costs dropped a further 7% last year. Today, renewables are the cheapest source of power. All right, so fuel prices. So technically, I guess fuel, well, you know, I guess it isn't the price of fuel isn't dropping fast enough to compete with the ever dropping price of solar. Yeah.
Prices, you see what's happening.
Cattle prices are up. How we sold 500 at the sale barn today. Wow. Yes, I've heard that, and it's largely because of the low stock
With inflation around the world.
around the
You
world.
see what's happening with
Sorry. We're responsible for inflation around the world. Hi, dum-dum. Listen, if you're trying to undercut the Biden administration by saying their policies have caused something, stick to the shit they can actually control. If inflation is happening worldwide, which it is slightly, that's due to the fact that the pandemic was worldwide and there are supply issues and people getting back to work. And so a narrowly threaded, series of items are only going to people who currently have money, or the jobs are there to present that item to market in a way that people can get enough of it. So the prices, it's obviously, if it's lower than that, then this is just dumb. I don't know who I'm talking to, Mr. SATs.
Putin literally hacking our countries, the lack.
Yeah, Putin did not hack our country. Putin can't operate an iPad without help. Putin did not literally hack our country.
Of respect. You see,
Yeah, that's right. So when Russia was hacking our all the ransomware attacks that happened during your dad, that was also a sign of respect? Was that a sign of lack of respect?
what's happening, the mess that's the southern border, millions of people coming over.
Millions of people, let's see, are millions crossing the southern border. That's a good judge, huh? Let's see, kind of record 2 million migrants on the southern border. Government estimates show the U.S. is on track to encounter more than 2 million migrants on the U.S.-Mexico border. Let's see, marking a record high. The projections could be subject to change in the event of policy modifications, other changes in Latin America. The U.S. Border Patrol encounters, but combined data based on preliminary reports illustrates the continued challenge for so not so far. Data reviewed by CNN shows that up to 1.1 million single adults are expected through September. So not now, not at this point. Millions aren't crossing. 1.1 million by September, along with up to around 828,000 families and more than 200,000 unaccompanied children. That's the averaging based on what happened during the peak. Border Patrol encounters are expected to continue to rise month by month, according to projections, which can vary. The last time the border apprehensions surpassed 1 million, it was fiscal year 2006. According to publicly available data from Customs and Border Patrol, projections of Border Patrol arrests also climbed during the 2019 border crisis, but fell short of 900,000. So they may have crossed, but they got through in 2019. How do we know we're getting these people? Because we're catching them crossing the border. Tuesday, the agency expects to encounter more than 1 million migrants this fiscal year. So they'll encounter them. So they're not all just getting in. All right. So they get sent home. That's what happens? All right. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas also warned of an uptick in mid-March, saying of the uptick in mid-March, we are on pace to encounter more individuals on the southwest border than we have in the last 20 years. We are expelling most single adults and families. We are not expelling unaccompanied children. Because you don't dump kids in the desert, it seems like the pro-life thing to do. Thank you, Francie. Thank you guys for the super chats today. I really appreciate it. Don't forget, bits and stuff on Twitch are the way to support the show there. And you can, of course, subscribe, or you can gift a subscription if you're already a subscriber. And if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you can subscribe on Twitch for free and all that stuff, and also end on with the show.
The southern border, crime is spiking all throughout the country, and I could go on and on.
Yeah, that's true. Crime has been spiking for the last year. Obviously, the Biden administration hasn't had any policy that's been implemented that's caused that spike in violence. So, leftover mess they have to clean up from your dad. That's what it looks like. Looks like they're trying to do it too. Biden came out today with more money for law enforcement. There goes that whole defund the police talking point, I guess.
And, you have a lot of people out there who say, I really miss
Thank you, Ninka Crinkles.
Trump. I might not have liked every single tweet he sent, but the guy was incredibly effective. We had the best economy, and we had
No, he didn't.
the lowest unemployment. I mean,
No, he didn't.
you have businesses, Greg, all over this country that can't even open up because they can't get employees because of these ridiculous stimulus packages.
Yeah, these people are holding out to go back to the job they actually had and not just taking a job flipping burgers because they can't live off that. And then, of course, a lot of people are actually starting new businesses because they have the time to do it, which may lead to a boom in the American economy, which would scare the shit out of you guys in 2024.
And there's a lot of people that are missing.
We don't want to give law enforcement more money, Hal? Yes, we do. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we want more for training. We want more officers. When you have fewer officers and they're in more desperate situations, more bad things happen. 3 seconds. Every 3 seconds in the United States, someone is arrested. Every 3 seconds. There are 17,895. I have to look it up. Maybe 58. How many police departments are there? How many police departments in America? 985. Oh, so close. 17,985 police departments, agencies in the United States, which are county sheriff offices, state, all that kind of stuff. 17,985. Somebody gets arrested every 3 seconds. Think about the interaction level of bad cops that you experience and understand that for all 8 minutes of the George Floyd tape, every 3 seconds of that, someone else was getting arrested somewhere else and they went to jail and they were prosecuted and they were either found innocent or whatever, or put in jail. Sorry. We do not live in an incarceration society. We don't. Sorry. I mean, go look at the statistics of who's in there. Ever since pot's become legalized, the number of people on nonviolent drug offenses has gone down. You can anecdotally cite, like Arizona counties and stuff where the tough on crime assholes are there, but nationwide, it's not like that. Sorry. Cops do need more money. They don't need more military equipment. It's demilitarize the police, not defund the police. There's no reason why cops need tanks. They don't need leftover military equipment, and they don't need the budget to pay for the upkeep of military equipment. They need personnel. Just saying. I love you guys, but this talking point is so tired and weird, and the right wing has been able to hijack this thing for so long, and it's nonsense. And believe me, at no point are we going to be looking for criminal justice reform so that this asshole and his brother-in-law and his brother and his dad can get out of jail. No one's trying to spring the Weinsteins of the world. Forget it. The entire drug war is a failure and a mistake? No. Not the entirety of it. How it was carried out. Sorry. It doesn't work that way. Look at the opioid epidemic. They've effectively declared they waved the white flag of the drug war in those areas. And it's really just to clear out the people that the undesirables. Just let them OD, and we'll pick it up later.
Are missing Trump, and I think every single day that Biden messes up our nation, I think it further incentivizes my father, and frankly, our entire family.
Yeah, okay, so you're going to run now. Yeah, to do it again. Do what again? Kill 600,000 Americans?
I've told you this offline. I think 2022 is going to be an absolute bloodbath for the Democrats. I mean, I think we're absolutely going to do incredibly well.
Uh-huh.
I think 2024 is going to surprise everybody, and
yes, it will, because it's especially going to surprise you and your dad and the entire family, because more than likely that's when you'll have to report, to either get your ankle monitor or actually show up to prison.
And listen, he's making it easy. This guy is making it easy with his incompetence, and we're going to.
Well, obviously, you've only been capable of doing things that are easy your entire life, so I can understand why that looks exciting to you. But in reality, sorry, it's not. Your dad failed miserably, and it's over. It's over. It's so over. It's wonderfully over.
We're going to walk through that door. I'm telling you, we're going to walk through that door.
I'm glad.
Yeah, just tell them we're going to walk through. Guys, we're going to walk through that door. We're going to walk through that door. We're just going to keep on walking. That's what I'm going to tell you. We're going to walk through that door. That door, when we come to it, We're going to cross that walk when we door through that thing when we do it.
Glad, because the door is open at 20.
I mean, it's not even like you have to do the thing of opening the door. I am standing here holding this door like a dickhead for 4 years. He better walk through it. Man, I got all.
2022 and 2024.
The door, it's a big door and it's very open, Greg.
Yes, indeed.
It's so open. Thanks. What the hell are you talking about? I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Well, Eric Trump, executive vice president of the Trump Organization, also husband of Laura. Give her our best and all those kids as well, and your dad.
He can't give her his best. Sorry.
Well, to be continued. Many thanks, Eric Trump.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I think we all grew. That's amazing. By the way, in terms of the opioid epidemic, you know, the DEA was originally formed to stop doctors over-prescribing morphine. And they got busy chasing what would be, pure narcotics in terms of heroin specifically, also created by the Bayer aspirin company. You know, they created heroin as one of the original opioids, and it was named for its heroic effects on pain, right? Heroin was the original OxyContin, right? And it's been around ever since. The weed being a Class A drug was the essential major flaw, and always has been in terms of the war on drugs. The reality, though, is that 60% of the people who are in jail for murder were drunk at the time. Yeah, they were on a very legal drug. So curtailing how many people get that, and when people become grievously overserved and all that kind of stuff, all the stuff that communities have tried to do over the years about like drawing back the amount of alcohol you have access to or stored up at your house, never really kind of works out. So it's always been a problem, and people get drunk and shoot each other. And it's Western bars, so where are you going to go? But the reality is that OxyContin and heroin are both the fault of the pain management aspect of the pharmaceutical industry. And the DEA's prime directive originally was to do this, was to stop doctors from overprescribing morphine and then giving out heroin and obviously cocaine for your gums and shit like that. That part they totally left behind, chasing down things like ecstasy and other drugs, and specifically pot, which you can't OD on unless it's laced with something, and that's another problem. And what's happened is that OxyContin and heroin mixed with fentanyl are just wiping out an entire generation of users in this country. And for all of our talk and our desire to get people help so that they can heal, a lot of them are dying before they ever get a chance, or go through it a couple of times. All they do is screw up once. They buy from a dealer they don't normally buy from. It's the drug they're used to taking, that they have a system where they can kind of balance themselves because they have to do it in shame and in secret. They end up taking, they end up getting heroin or another drug laced with, or oxy or some fake oxy mixed with fentanyl, and they die. I mean, Philip Seymour Hoffman, dozens of, Heath Ledger, the East Coast people, it was a killing field of people who thought they were doing heroin the way they normally do heroin, and it was laced with fentanyl and it killed them. The DEA's job was to keep that stuff out, and they didn't. They just stopped. They just kind of, and because when we think of drug cartels in this country, we think of Mexican drug cartels and Southern drug cartels, and then gangs up here that sell and distribute. When in reality, the Sacklers have a higher death toll. As the company that sold Purdue Pharmaceutical that was dumping 800,000 pills a year into a city with 10,000 people in it through Walmart pharmacies and shit, and being proud that they were dumping that stuff. Their death rate is way higher. El Chapo doesn't hold a candle to the Sacklers. So, yeah. I remember when they used to say, he was addicted to painkillers. Like, no. You notice nobody's ever addicted to pain relievers? Just the killers. Maybe if you're taking a drug with killer in the title, it might be part of the problem.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty.
Oh, I don't care, Rob.